I, 46 male, recently finalized my divorce with my now ex-wife, Liza, 41. We were only married for 3 years, and the cause of the divorce was financial issues. We had separate bank accounts for our savings and checking accounts, for where our salaries went. I created an extra account for her, where I would deposit money monthly. I had fun spending money, as I made significantly more, and I wanted her to have less stress with her finances. Even with this setup, she would consistently go over the limit and take lots of cash out of my wallet and personal safe without informing me. When we were married, she and her 2 kids, 18 male and a female teen, from her previous relationship, moved into my house, and I paid for them to go to private high school. Their dad is in their life, so they never saw me as anything other than the guy who married their mom. But I understand that, because they did meet me much later in their lives, and not as little kids. Regardless, I tried to keep a good relationship, but neither of them ever wanted that and made me feel like an ATM. I got a really thorough prenup made before we married, so I basically kept everything I had, except for some alimony I had to pay every month. After the divorce, Liza and her kids moved out, and I informed her that I had closed the bank account I had made for sending her money, and I was going to stop paying for the kids' private school tuition after the school year was over. That way, at least they finish the year out and have a few months to figure out their next plans and transfer. It's been about 3 months since then, and I got a nasty call from her saying she can't afford rent anymore, so she and the kids must move in with her mother. She berated me for taking away the credit card attached to my bank account. Apparently, the kids have also had to stop some of their extracurricular sports because she can't pay for the programs. She said I left her in poverty and she had to apply for government assistance and food stamps. Also, when we were married, I had mentioned potentially paying for her kids' college tuition when the time came, but it was never a set thing. She still thought this offer was on the table and mapped out how her son had just been accepted to his dream school, and the cost of attendance would be $80K per year, so she wanted to know how I'd be sending the funds for this. I just told her she's crazy if she thinks I'm giving up my hard-earned money for someone else's kids I have no ties to anymore, and that I covered her bills entirely for 3 years, so she should have saved her salary then, instead of blowing through it on designer items. Many of her family and friends and her kids' dad are calling me to say I need to provide for the kids, at least because I'm their stepdad, and that's a lifelong commitment. Also, according to them, it's not fair that I'm taking away their opportunities to be at a fancy private school and college, especially when I have the money to pay for it and keep up their lifestyle to how it was when they lived with me. So, am I the idiot for making my ex-wife and her kids live in poverty, even though I have money? Let me see if I understand this correctly. Her ex-husband, as in the father of the 2 kids in question, your former stepkids, called you up and said you needed to pay for his kids to go to college? That's some big nerve right there. Holy wow, you are not the idiot. Gold diggers everywhere. Honestly, you went above and beyond. Cut contact when you can. This dumpster fire is no longer your issue. What kind of sane person would expect their ex-husband to pay for her and her kids' lives, not to mention the fact that the kids are not yours? Tell them that their ATM is now closed and wish them the best with their lives. Block their numbers and enjoy your money. You don't owe them squat other than her alimony. Tell them to pound sand. All further correspondence goes through a lawyer. Good Lord, you were exactly that, a meal ticket and ATM. She stole from you, for Christ's sake. However, be prepared to argue in court whether or not you're responsible for paying for her children's future education. Some courts hold that a person can rely on another's promise to pay and act upon it, and that the promiser must pay. If one of them chooses to pursue the court route, you must lay out documentation to prove that you never intentionally taken on her children's financial care and that of your wife. Convince the judge that you've never offered future financial help for her children. I, 19 female, looked just like my late maternal grandmother. She died when my mom was only a child, but she died leaving her husband and oldest daughter deeply traumatized by her behavior and her death. Her younger daughter, my aunt, was too young to remember her or anything about the life she gave her family. My grandmother did many things that impacted the family, especially my mom. To add to everything else, my mom is the one who found her mother when she was just 8 years old, so she's always carried that around with her. I only found out I looked just like her mother when I was 6, and my aunt told me I was just like her mommy. She was showing me all of these pictures she had, and the childhood ones really showed the resemblance. She made a big point of telling me every single similarity we had. My mother never made me feel unloved or like something was wrong with me. The only reason I knew something was up was that she wasn't able to hide the sadness in her eyes when she looked at me. I also did some snooping when I was little and heard her tell my dad about the struggle she had, some days, to see her mom's face in me. My aunt decided to use me to hurt Mom. When I was 12, she brought me to get my hair dyed behind my mom's back and pushed me to go blonde when I wanted pink hair. It turned out my mom knew their mother as a blonde. I realized that when I saw my mom's eyes after seeing me with blonde hair. That was the point where I realized what my aunt was doing. There was other stuff before then, like she'd buy me clothes, similar to what their mother would have worn. My aunt had a bunch of photos of her mother, so she knew the stuff she liked to wear. She gave me a nickname as a little girl and got me so into it, I tried to use it with everyone. It was a nickname my grandmother was given by some people in her life. My mom really hated that name too. I heard her tell Dad later that night. My mom adored my aunt and thought they were super close. So when I realized what my aunt was doing, I told her I was on to her and wouldn't be trusting her anymore. She did attempt to do some more screwed up stuff, but eventually I told my dad and he told my aunt to leave me the heck alone. We didn't see her for years during the global issue or after, but then Grandpa's birthday happened just before New Year's, and she approached me and tried to manipulate me into doing the same stuff, changing my hair and how I dress, etc. I told her I knew what she was doing, and she laughed at the idea of it being to hurt Mom. So I lost my temper and ensured everyone heard what she had done when I was a kid and that she was trying to do it again. My dad and some other people there forced my aunt to leave, but not before she told me that I was such a witch for spoiling the party and publicly humiliating her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You got your grandmother's looks, but it seems your aunt got her personality. Quite the achievement since she never knew her. Just tell her you were doing what she wanted and giving her a taste of grandma. If she was publicly humiliated by everyone knowing about her cruel little game, then it's probably time she looked in the mirror or went to a therapist for whatever the screwed up childhood resentment she holds against your mom. Or don't bother. She obviously lives for the drama. Go back to ignoring her existence. It will annoy her even more than any response. I disagree. You and your aunt are idiots. Her for obvious reasons. Your aunt is a psychopath. She gets enjoyment out of hurting people, specifically your mom. You for deciding to act the way you did. Listen, I completely understand why you were so mad. Your aunt is a complete piece of work. But do you think your meltdown made it easier on your mom or harder? She's probably blaming herself for what you did. You need to remove your aunt from your social media, block her, and even limit any interaction with her family. I, female 18, have 2 brothers, 26 and 28, and they're both married. Well, I still live with my parents. I had a big announcement to make for my family. My boyfriend, 23, and I have gotten engaged, and I'll also move out to live with him because I'm pregnant. The thing is that I wanted to tell my whole family the news all at once. So last Saturday, I told my mother that I was going to make dinner. I invited my 2 brothers but asked them to come alone, without their wives or my oldest brother's children. My oldest brother was quite annoyed and asked me why his wife and children couldn't come. I told him that I wanted to have a family dinner with just us, parents and siblings. Well, I cooked dinner last Friday. They came, and I finally made the announcement. I was surprised by how unsupportive my family was. But anyway, at some point, my brother asked me again why this had to be just us. Why couldn't his family come too? My other brother agreed it wasn't something worth being so secretive about. I told them I wanted to have dinner with my family, but their wives weren't. They got very upset over that, telling me that I was insensitive because their wives are their family, and I should also consider them that. My oldest brother got even more upset because he said that I don't consider his children my family. It all went down, and my brothers and I had an argument. My parents tried to calm them down, but my oldest brother accused them of spoiling me. I was feeling very stressed, so I left. I texted my boyfriend so he would pick me up. The next day, my oldest brother's wife called me to yell at me too, because I'm supposedly not including her in family events. I told my parents that, and they got very angry with my brother. I don't think I did anything bad, to be honest. My brothers misinterpreted my words to try to make them seem bad, but I just wanted dinner with my family. Am I wrong? You are the idiot. Do you expect your parents and brother to treat your child and partner like family? If your nieces, nephews, and sisters-in-law aren't family, why would your child be? You have seriously damaged your family relationships. You need to re-examine why you feel this way and find out how to fix this before your child is born and ostracized. Start by apologizing to everyone and explain how wrong you were. My thought exactly. OP is going the right way to cut out her family and be left with nobody when the girlfriend leaves because he can't cope with the kid. I predict lots of complaining from OP about how nobody's helping her out with taking care of her baby. It's tragic that someone this clueless is having a baby. I swear it's the people who shouldn't be having kids. We are doomed. The irony is that you understood that your impending marriage is an important thing, while essentially saying that your brother's wives are not family, so their marriages aren't as important. And really, you're surprised that they were unsupportive of an 18-year-old getting pregnant and married? What the heck, OP? The in-laws and nibblings are your family, too. You're obviously too young to get married, and you're having a baby? Geez. She's surprised her parents and brothers weren't supportive of her at 18, announcing both her pregnancy and engagement. She's also confused about why her parents and brothers are upset that she considers neither her sisters-in-law nor her nieces and nephews family. I wonder if she'll consider her parents her child's family, or her child's father her parents' family. Whose family? Obviously, not even blood is family, as her nibblings are not her family. This girl's life is going to be marvelous. I demand annual updates. I have 3 kids, 18, a teen, and a tween. I've always hated how seriously some people take games and sports. When I started teaching my kids how to play games like Monopoly or Jenga or whatever, or even sports like baseball and rugby, I taught them that unless money's involved, all games should be fun for everyone playing. During family visits, they continually drive their relatives up the wall because they don't get upset when losing. They also don't gloat when they're winning. They just try to have fun and enjoy the time they visit. My brother finally snapped at them over Thanksgiving because they were playing Mario Kart and letting everyone take turns by losing or by not driving their best. I told him to relax and that the kids just wanted to have fun and visit with their cousins and such. He said that I was raising a generation of weak, woke snowflakes. I told him that my kids could destroy him at any game he chose if he bet them. He chose not to believe me. My daughter's my oldest. She spanked him at Mario Kart. My middle kid carried on a conversation with 2 of his little cousins while doing multiple rounds on Smash Bros. My youngest let his uncle pick his own character and let him pick his for him as well. He did lose 1 round to Sub-Zero, a character in Mortal Kombat that my brother's been playing since 1992. Literally 3 times as long as my youngest has been alive, 1 round out of 5 fights. My brother says that I'm an idiot for teaching my kids to hustle people. I said that isn't exactly a hustle if I say out loud that my kids will go for the throat if there's money on the table. I made him pay up on the bets. My kids went back to goofing off. My dad laughed at the situation. but my mom said I was mean to force him to pay off a debt that he, as an adult, had entered into willingly. I don't think I'm wrong. I've seen too many kids and my brother pitch fits if they lose a game. You're not an idiot. You're just raising a squad of gaming mercenaries. You're teaching your kids to go easy without money and then unleash the beast when there's cash involved. That's some next-level parenting. Your brother just got a taste of reality served by your Mario Kart champion daughter. He may need to learn a lesson in humility and wallet thinning. People who complain about snowflakes are usually the biggest snowflakes. The kids were the opposite of snowflakes. The kids were just having fun. They would be snowflakes if they were crying over losing a fair game. OP, I love your philosophy and fully support it. Everyone is having fun. Nothing serious unless you make it so. Money is always serious. Go you. And it's always funny because becoming upset over something not being the way you want it is the definition of being a snowflake. The takeaway from this story is that OP doesn't want his kids turning up like his brother. You did well, OP. Your brother is a loudmouth with too many unfiltered thoughts. This has been an ongoing issue. I have a friend group that likes to eat nicer food. Personally, I'm fine with getting something cheap on the menu. The issue is they always want to split the check. I've had this conversation so often that I want to pay for what I ordered. It results in an argument where I must bend or everyone's mad at me. I also make a lot more than my friends, so they always call me cheap. They don't get it. I want to pay for my meal and that's it. We went out to eat yesterday, and they all ordered things that were around $30. I got the house salad, and my total was around $12. They told the server to split the bill, and I didn't want to fight about it again. I asked the server to add an entree and dessert to the bill for me to take home. This resulted in my bill going up into the 30s. So they asked me what I was doing. I told them I was getting more food, and they got upset when I increased the price they needed to pay. This resulted in another argument, and they think I'm a jerk. Not the idiot. No matter how much you make, you made it clear. Get a separate bill as soon as you enter. Let them be upset. Ask them what they're upset about. They're not paying for your food. They know your viewpoint, and it's not going to change. At some point, find new friends because they're not respecting you. Your friends are using you to have a nicer meal than they can afford. It sounds like the check splitting's been going on for a while, so OP knew it would happen when they decided to go out to eat with this friend group again. Although I don't think OP's wrong for wanting to pay only for the food they ordered. You don't order a house salad and then food to go if you know your friends are going to tell the server to split the bill again and you didn't want to fight about it again. You are the idiot, dude. If you don't want to follow what appears to be the group rules, don't go out to eat with them. It doesn't appear to be a question of not being able to afford it. So it seems like you're a right fighter. It's not fair, so you're not going to do it. Stay home and eat takeout by yourself.